The cold reaches you first. Cold stone against your cheek, cold iron around your ankle. Cold air that smells of old straw and older piss, and something underneath it all that you will learn is the smell of people left too long in the dark. You do not remember arriving. You remember hands. You remember a door closing. You remember your own voice saying there has been a mistake, and no one answering, because in here everyone says there has been a mistake. Somewhere down the corridor a woman is laughing. She does not stop. She will not stop for hours. And through the bars of your cell, in the gray morning light, you see the first faces of the day pressing close to look at you. Clean faces, curious faces. A man lifting a child to see better. They have paid a penny each. You are what they came to see. You sit up and the chain pulls tight at your ankle. It is short, 2 feet, maybe 3. Long enough to reach the bucket in the corner. Long enough to reach the wall and no further. You follow it with your hand and find the iron ring bolted into the stone, worn smooth by other hands, hundreds of other hands. All the people who sat exactly where you are sitting and pulled at exactly this ring and learned exactly what you are learning now. The ring does not move. It was not made to move. This is Bethlem. London calls it Bedlam. And it says the word the way you might say a curse, or a joke, or a threat to a child who will not sleep. Behave, or they will send you to Bedlam. You never thought the word applied to you. Yesterday it did not. Yesterday you had a name and a bed, and people who knew your face. Today you have a number and a chain, and a room full of strangers who came to watch you be mad. You want to tell them you are not mad. You want to stand at the bars and explain it calmly, reasonably, in the voice of a sane person, because surely a sane voice is the one thing that cannot be faked. Surely they will hear it and understand. But you have already seen how that goes. The woman down the corridor was explaining something too, once. She was reasonable once, everyone here was reasonable once, and every one of them stood at these bars and explained, and here they still are. Let us go back a few hours to how a person ends up on this floor. You did not have to be mad to come to Bedlam. That is the first thing to understand, and it is the thing that will keep you awake tonight. A man could be committed by his family, a wife by her husband, a daughter by a father who found her inconvenient, a brother who wanted the inheritance, a business partner who wanted you quiet. A magistrate signed a paper. A physician who saw you for the length of a breath agreed, and that was enough. There was no trial. There was no defense. There was no one whose job it was to ask whether the thing being done to you was true. Grief could put you here. A woman who wept too long for a dead child was called disordered. A man who drank to forget was called degenerate. Too much religion, too little religion. Too much desire, a temper, a strange idea spoken at the wrong table. The list of things that could be called madness was as long as the list of things a person might feel. And once the word was said over you, once it was written on the paper, it did not come off. You could be perfectly, coldly sane, and it would not matter, because the more calmly you argued your sanity, the more they would nod and write it down as cunning. So here you are, and the building is waking up around you. The gallery outside your cell is long, longer than any room you have stood in. It runs the length of the wing, a corridor of stone with a row of doors down each side, and it is cold in a way that has nothing to do with weather. This is Moorfields, the great house of Bethlem, and from the outside it is a palace. You have seen it. Everyone in London has seen it. A grand front with tall windows and a long facade and 2 enormous stone figures reclining over the gate. One of them the very picture of raving madness, chained, straining, mouth open. The city built a beautiful face for this place. Behind the face is where you are now. Behind the face the plaster is black with damp. Behind the face the windows in the cells have no glass, because glass breaks and broken glass cuts. So the winter comes straight in through the bars and lies down on the floor next to you. Behind the face, the straw on the ground is the same straw that was here last month and the month before, matted and sour, and the bucket in the corner is emptied when someone remembers, which is not often. which is not nearly often enough. If you can already feel this place closing around you, leave a like. It pulls more of these buried histories back up into the light. The noise never stops. That is the thing no one tells you about Bedlam, the thing you cannot understand until you are inside it. It is never quiet. Someone is always weeping. Someone is always shouting. Someone is dragging a chain across stone. Rhythmic, endless. A sound like a slow bell that will still be sounding when you finally, if you ever, get out. And under all of it, always, someone laughing. The laugh with nothing behind it. The laugh that is not about anything. You will hear that laugh in your sleep for the rest of your life. You look at the others now, through the bars, across the gallery, into the cells you can see. And this is where it becomes hard, because they are not all the same. Some of them are truly gone. There is no arguing it, no kindness in pretending. A man who has torn his own clothes to rags and speaks only to people who are not there. A woman who has not moved from one corner in so long that the keepers step over her like furniture. Minds that broke somewhere far back and never came home. You feel for them a pity so deep it frightens you, because it is the pity of someone looking at his own possible future. And some of them are like you, sane, watching. Their eyes find yours across the gallery, and there is a whole person in there. Trapped, calculating, exhausted, and you both know it, and neither of you can do a single thing about it. Those are the worst to look at. The clearly mad you can pity, the clearly sane you can only fear, because they are proof that being sane does not save you. They came in like you, sure it was a mistake, sure it would be sorted by evening. Look how long they have been sure. The keepers come with the morning. You hear them before you see them. Boots and keys. The particular sound of a man who is not afraid of anything in this building because everything in this building is chained. He is not cruel exactly. Cruelty would require him to see you as a person he is being cruel to. He does not see you at all. You are a task. You are the third door on the left, the one that needs its bucket done and its gruel handed in and its chain checked. He checks the chain with a boot, without looking, the way you would test a fence. If you shout at him, he may strike you, not in anger, just to make the shouting stop, the way you would swat at a noise. If you weep, he will not notice. If you tell him, reasonably, in your sane voice, that there has been a mistake, he will have heard those words 10,000 times from 10,000 mouths, and they mean nothing to him anymore. They are simply the sound this building makes. To be here is to learn that reason, your last possession, the thing you were most proud of, is worth nothing at all to the people who hold the keys. And then the doors at the end of the gallery open, and the visitors come in. This is the part you will never make anyone outside believe. They came to watch. Bethlem was one of the sights of London, a thing you did on a free afternoon, like the theater, like the gardens, like the beasts in the tower. You paid your penny at the gate, or in the good years you paid nothing at all, and you walked the galleries, and you looked at the mad. Families came. Couples came, the young man showing off his nerve to the girl on his arm. Gentlemen came with their canes. Fine ladies came with scented cloths pressed to their noses. On a holiday, there might be hundreds of them in a single day, thousands across the season. A river of clean, curious people flowing past your cell to see what you would do. And they did not just look. They talked to you, to draw you out, to make you rage. Because a raving lunatic was better entertainment than a quiet one. They poked at the wilder ones, through the bars with the ends of their walking sticks. They laughed at the man who thought he was a king. They gave gin to the ones who would perform for it. They fed cakes and nuts through the bars the way you would feed an animal you had paid to see. And they went home and told their friends what a diverting afternoon it had been. The madhouse. You really must go. The things they do. You are behind the bars now. You are the thing being looked at. A woman stops in front of your cell and studies you with mild interest, the way you might study a strange fish. And she says something to her husband, and he laughs, and they move on before you have finished forming the first word of your reply. You are not a person to them. You are a stop on a walk. You are proof, warm and breathing, that they are on the right side of the bars and you are not. And that is the whole pleasure of it. That is what the penny buys. The comfort of the sane is built on the display of the mad. If being watched like this makes something turn over in your stomach, if you are starting to feel the walls of that gallery close in, then stay with me, because the visitors go home at dusk and what happens after they leave is worse. Keep watching, because the visitors are the mercy of the day. The visitors, however cruel, are still the outside world walking through, still faces, still proof that a world exists where people wear clean coats and go home to dinner. When they leave, the doctors come, and the doctors have a plan for you. You must understand what medicine believed in this age. Madness was thought to be a thing of the body, of bad humors, of too much blood, of foul matter in the gut that had risen to the brain. And so the cure was to empty you, to drain, to purge, to weaken, to bring the raving body low until it was too spent to rave. Nothing they did to you was meant to comfort. It was meant to subdue, and they told themselves subdue meant cure. So they bleed you. They open a vein in your arm and let the blood run into a bowl, pint after pint, until the room tilts and goes gray at the edges, and you slump against your keeper. And they call that progress, because a man too faint to stand is a man too faint to shout. They do it again next week, and the week after, on a schedule, in the spring especially, when the whole house is bled like a field being drained. They purge you. They pour physic down your throat that empties your bowels for days, that leaves you cramping and hollow on the sour straw. And this too is called treatment. They give you things that make you vomit, again and again, on purpose, for hours, because bringing up the contents of your stomach is thought to bring up the badness in your mind. You are sick and starved and drained by turns, and none of it is punishment. That is the strange horror of it. All of it is done by serious men who believe they are helping you. They put you in the cold bath. They lower you into water so cold it stops your breath, or they pour it over you from a height, bucket after bucket. The shock of it meant to jolt the madness loose. Some of these baths went on until the patient nearly drowned, until the body went limp, and a limp body was red as a calm one. And if you struggle through any of it, if the terror of the water or the blade makes you fight, then they have the chair, the restraint chair, where a person can be strapped and left, arms bound, head fixed, for hours, for a day, for as long as it takes to make you still. None of it works. That is what you understand, lying there afterward, wrung out and shaking on the floor. None of it was ever going to work, because you were not sick in the way they think, and even the ones who were sick are not helped by being drained until they faint. The treatment is not aimed at your mind. It is aimed at your noise. A quiet patient and a cured patient look the same to a busy keeper, and quiet is so much easier to produce. If you had woken up on this straw, tell me in the comments which part breaks you first, the chain, the doctors, or the crowd that paid to laugh. And between the treatments there is the plainer suffering, the slow kind, the kind that needs no doctor. There is hunger. The food is a thin gruel, a little bread, and never enough of it, and the chained cannot go and find more. So you learn the particular gnawing patience of a body kept always a little starved. There is the cold, real cold, killing cold, in a stone building with no glass in the windows and no fire in the cells. And in the hard months of winter the weakest simply do not wake. They are found in the morning, curled on the straw, and carried out without ceremony, and the space they leave is filled by evening. There is filth, always the filth, the straw that is never changed, the bucket that is never emptied, the body that is never washed, the sores that open on skin pressed too long against stone, the vermin that live in the walls, and in the straw, and on you. You stop noticing the smell of yourself after a while. That frightens you more than the smell did. Everything here is a slow lesson in what a person can get used to. There is a man in the next cell who has been here longer than anyone can say. He talks to you through the wall, low and steady, in the dark, and here is the thing that undoes you. He is sane. His voice is calm and clear and kind, and he tells you how to survive, which keepers to fear and which to ignore, how to hide a little bread, how to go still when the visitors come so they lose interest and pass you by. He came in over a family matter, years ago, a dispute about money and a signature, and he was right, and it did not save him. And he has watched himself be slowly emptied of hope one ordinary day at a time. He does not shout anymore. He does not argue his case anymore. He simply exists, correctly and quietly and forever. And you realize that his calm is not peace. It is what is left when a sane man finally understands that no one is ever coming, and that understanding is its own kind of death. You could become him. On the bad nights, you can feel it happening already. The slow settling, the giving up dressed as acceptance. The place does not need to break you loudly. It has all the time in the world to do it in a whisper. And then, every day, the night. The visitors are gone. The doctors are gone. The gray light in the barred window fails, and there is no lamp, no candle, nothing. Only the dark, total and close. And in the dark, the noise of Bedlam becomes something else. In daylight, the screaming had faces you could see. Now it is only sound, coming from everywhere, from the cells beside you and above you and across the black gallery. The weeping and the shouting and the dragging chain, and always, always, the laugh with nothing behind it. Closer now, or seeming closer, because you cannot see how far away anything is. And this is where the real horror of the place shows itself, slowly, over nights like this one. Because you came insane. You are sure you came insane. But you are lying in the dark, cold and starved and drained of blood, listening to 100 broken minds sing their broken songs, and you find yourself listening for meaning in the noise. You find yourself answering, under your breath. You find yourself, on the worst nights, not entirely certain which of the voices in the dark are in the other cells, and which are closer than that. Bedlam did not only hold the mad, Bedlam made them. Take a sound mind and chain it in the cold and starve it and bleed it and put it on display for strangers and surround it every night with the noise of the truly lost, and tell it, over and over, in every way the building can speak, that no one is coming, that reason means nothing here, that it will never be believed. Do that for a month, do it for a year, do it for the 10 and 20 years that some in these cells have been here. A mind is not made of stone. A mind can be worn down like the iron ring in the wall, smooth until it holds nothing anymore. If you want to keep seeing history the way it truly was, without the clean marble and the polite lies, subscribe. The ones who arrived truly ill were failed by this place. The ones who arrived well were destroyed by it. And the terrible arithmetic of Bedlam is that after enough time inside, you could no longer tell the two apart, and neither could they. Morning comes again, because it always comes, gray and cold through the glassless window. Your ankle is raw under the iron. Your arm aches where the vein was opened. The gruel is handed in. Somewhere down the gallery, the laughing woman starts again, right on time, as if she never stopped, and perhaps she never did. And then the far doors open, and the boots and the keys, and behind them the first clean, curious faces of the day, pressing to the bars. A penny paid, a child lifted up to see. They look at you, and you look back at them, at their clean coats and their easy laughter, and their absolute certainty that they are nothing like you, that this could never be them, that the bars are where they belong, and the floor is where you belong, and the only thing separating those two truths is a signature on a piece of paper that any one of them could have waiting at home with their name already on it. You do not shout anymore. You learned that yesterday, or the day before, or however long it has been. Time does not hold its shape in here. You just sit in your straw in the cold gray light, watched, forgotten, and you understand at last the oldest lesson this building teaches. It was never a hospital. It was never meant to cure. It was a place to put the people the world decided it did not want to see, dressed up behind a grand stone face, so the city could tell itself they were being cared for. And you are one of them now, and the penny keeps buying the view. And if you have the stomach for another brutal chapter of the past, there is more of it waiting for you on this channel.